All right, we're gonna look at this side of my studio today, where there's the mixer, the analog console. I have some effects. I have a patch bay for routing, and I have also a multi-track recorder. So first of all, I have instruments for the rest of my studio with audio coming in, right? I have my Oberheim synthesizer. I have all kinds of stuff. SP1200 from EMU. They all have audio outs, right? These audio outs they're soldered in the back of this patch bay here. The top row has instrument coming in on this side here. And then the bottom row, there's cables that are soldered going into the inputs of this mixer. And so let's say I have the SP1200 drum machine, a sampler, has 8 outputs. They're here. And then they go back to channel 9 through 16. So if I want to hear my SP1200, I hit play on the SP1200 and then select the channels either to go on my stereo mixer on speakers, or I can send them to a bus. And then what I do is I can bring up channel 1 here, bus 1, and I'll be able to hear my SP1200. Reason why I bring it into a bus is because that bus then can be controlled separately. If I want to bring down all the channels at once after tweaking them, each of them separately, I can just bring it down that way. I can also do things like the whole group, the whole bus can be routed into effects. So here on this side, I have several pedals here from Strymon. I have a Volante, which Volante is 4 tape machines or 4 echo machines essentially. It simulates a tape effect. It's really nice. I have a Strymon Ola, which is a stereo chorus. Really nice when you bring in mono sources, right? An instrument that's mono. It'll come in and then you can widen that field. It doesn't have to be a super strong chorus. You can make it very slight, but it'll widen the signal. I also have a Big Sky from Strymon as well. The Big Sky is a really lush reverb. It's very nice. So the mixer has several auxiliary sends, and so I can say, oh, channel 1, I want to send it to auxiliary 4, aux send 4. If I do that, then aux 4 here, there's an output for that. It'll come out, and I can then route it into one of those pedals, and the sound of those pedals I can send back into returns. So there are returns, effect returns that come back. And so you heard me talk about sends and returns, patch bay. It's very much like all the stuff you have in a computer if you use a digital audio workstation. I have a stereo compressor down there that I can use for mastering on the master bus, or a stereo bus on the output, or I can also track things into that compressor. Stereo compressor from Chameleon Labs. It's 7720. It's like SSL style compressor. I have 2 Pultec style tube equalizers here. You see those blue boxes here, right? And they are from Warm Audio, and Warm Audio makes affordable gear that is inspired. I don't know if they're clones, but they're inspired closely by a vintage classic gear like the Pultec EQs. They also have, classic vintage compressor style stuff, but they're only a few $100. They sound very nice, right? So I have 2 of them, so I can do stereo signals. And I have an album. It was called Wave 1, and Wave 1 was every track in there was tracked through these EQs, and that compressor actually in the final mix as well was EQ'd using the same setup. So search for Emmanuel Clement as my real name, and the album is called Wave 1. We also have my audio interface for my computer here. It's a Presonus 1824 USB. I can plug things into it. I also have the outputs from my interface, from the computer, and I can patch them into my patch bay back into my mixer. I can also record the computer into my multi-track recorder here, the HD24 from Alesis, right? So it's sort of a crazy workflow. I like to have music recorded into the multi-track here because it just like you have a file in the computer and you launch your whole project. I have a hard drive I put in there, an old school mechanical hard drive, and then I load a song and the tracks are there. It doesn't have plugins, none of that, but you know, it's just a couple buttons away to load almost instantly any song I've recorded, and there are 24 separate tracks on it. And it sounds really, really nice. The converters, even though it's almost 20 years old, sounds amazing, right? So that is the HD24. The last thing I'm going to talk about is I have a multi-effect rack from Eventide called the H3000. This is the H3500B something. 3500, it's because I swapped out the chips inside the EEPROMs, so it kind of brought it upgraded my H3000 to the best model that ever came out, 3500 something something. What it has amazing reverbs, great choruses, you know, tap delays, pitch shifters, all kinds of stuff, and the greatest have used that in the 80s and 90s. So if you have any questions about this, if I forgot anything and something isn't clear, please post a comment. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this interesting. You learned a thing or two, and looking forward to talk to you.